All right, welcome to another edition of Ask Shades. Today's question comes from Gary in Texas, and Gary writes, can you show us how to cook some of your favorite recipes? Well, let me tell you right now, if you've got a weak stomach or if things that you eat start with mac in front of them, you may want to change the channel. This shit is about to go down. Hands down, my favorite recipe is a recipe for disaster. Now, a lot of people think that you can just throw a bunch of chaos into a pan and just walk away, but they are wrong. I mean, the most you're gonna get out of that is mayhem. A really good disaster like the disaster, that takes preparation. Now, as everybody knows, there are literally thousands of ways that you can flavor your disaster. But the recipe that I'm gonna give you today is just for a good, common disaster. Here's the basic ingredients that you're gonna need. First up, you're gonna need a cup of chaos. Not the idea of chaos. Chaos. A pound of sliced trouble. Try to slice that stuff as thin as you can get it. And then you're also gonna need a half a pound of miscommunication. One bearded man. Doesn't really matter what size, just make sure he's ripe. You're gonna need basically a tablespoon of truth. And then lastly, you're gonna need 3 buckets of uncontrollable force. So now that you got your ingredients, you're gonna just throw in the idea chaos. Just let it sit. That's gonna be your base. And then right away, add your bearded man. Now, a lot of people are gonna tell you to wait till the end to put in the bearded man, but that's just because then everybody's like, who's? He just kind of walks around the chaos and hangs out in backlit places. Then you want to add your trouble and your miscommunication. Make sure you add them at the same time though. If you just add the trouble in, then someone's going to come along with a good idea and then it's solved. And what do you got then? You know, disaster averted. So your amps are there and they're on fire and everyone's like, uh-oh, there's a fire. There's your trouble. So you have to make sure that the person that you send to get the water comes back with batteries, because batteries and water sound alike. That's miscommunication. You want to think about it like a really bad tasting lasagna. You got a layer of trouble and a layer of miscommunication. Layer of trouble, layer of miscommunication. Now, at the same time, in a separate pot, you should be bringing your uncontrollable force to a slow boil. Then, right before you throw in your uncontrollable force, you're just gonna throw in a little dash of truth. And that's just gonna wake everybody up to like, oh my God, this is really gonna happen. Now, you can use the perception of truth, but I find that if you use the real thing, you just get a much better result. And then, bam, add the uncontrollable force, and now you've got disaster. Now you just sit back with a nice chilled glass of rosé and listen to the bearded man cackle. All right, do I have time for one more recipe? Okay, so here's my recipe for pain. Take any situation at all, add an ex-girlfriend. All right, well, that's all the time we've got for today. If you've got a question that you want to ask us, make sure you hit us right here. Or just reach out to us at shadesofaugust@yahoo.com. We'd love to hear from you and ready to ask you a question or answer your question. Or, I don't know, maybe miscommunicate a question. Disaster. Oof. Anybody got Tums?